What's up? Your typical autistic metalhead here, back with another list for you today. I wanted to talk about my top favorite modern metal albums, and I narrowed this down by figuring out the albums that kind of had the biggest effect on me, and if like I was very close-minded to like just more modern music, and especially like modern metal too, over the years. And then when I finally started discovering, a lot of these albums were a big discovery of me being more open to it and discovering more things, and just seeing differences in sounds and like the changes in sounds compared to the older the classics and such. And I've got 10 albums here, 11 clowning with like I got a kind of an honorable mention. It's kind of a little bit of gray area that I kind of wanted to, I'll mention that towards the end when we get to that one. But so pretty much my top 10 here, maybe top 11, but just go ahead and start right here with the first one. I've got these in alphabetical order by album name, the way I've usually been doing it lately. But first one I have here, Panopticon, and again, Into the Light. This album came out in 2021. It's an American band, one-man project for the most part, and it's a good mix of American folk music and black metal, like atmospheric black metal. And this is a pretty important album to me because I've gone back to it a ton over the years, actually, and mostly listened to it in this format. I found it at a record store years back, and I didn't know anything about it and just kind of blind bought it, and just really kind of fell in love with this album. I've never been like the hugest fan. I'm still not like the hugest fan of folk black metal and folk being implemented in black metal. It's something I want to be more open to and get into in the future. But just nothing I've been too big in. But this album has really caught me in that regard, and I really like the sounds on it. I love the nature sounds that he implements on here. I love how the nature artwork goes along with it. It reminds me of like when I first got into black metal and such, and like walking through the woods and the beauty of nature, and it's just like beautiful photographs in here, and just goes with the music so well. And I just love the good mix of just the slower folky parts, and it just goes these just claustrophobic, cavernous sounding atmospheric black metal, and I just really like that. And it's like it's like different, it's like kind of shows that like what atmospheric black metal has come to be today, and like has evolved into. And I think it's a great representation of that, and really just amazing album. And the one I come back to the most by Panopticon, I really don't listen to much of the other stuff. This is just the one that's just really special to me, and will always stand out to me, and it's just an amazing, great album. Next, have Dragged in the Sunlight, Hatred for Mankind. I will mention that what I mean by modern albums, I'd say anything like past like 05, 06, and bands that like started after that, like around like the kind of the later 2000s and above. But Dragged in the Sunlight, it's like right on the edge of that. This album came out in 2009. It's their first full-length album, and kind of their magnum opus, like that's probably the fan favorite, I'd say. I got really intrigued by this album. I actually found out about this album through the YouTuber WyattXM. Said it was his favorite death metal album of all time, and got very intrigued by it. I was like, oh, that album artwork is crazy, and just that's so cool. Like Justin Bartlett was an amazing artist and just did some really sick, gruesome, dark art there. And that was what initially pulled me in. It was like, this is like very influential like album artwork to me. I was just like, wow, this is so cool and interesting and dark and wild. And the music definitely goes along with that. And they're like, I remember when I first listened to them, I was kind of like so at first. Like I was like, what's the hugest hype about this? It's not like, I didn't love the vocals that much at first, and it was just different than I remembered. But like I was just like still into just like classic old school stuff, and But something just kept pulling me back and pulling me back and pulling me back, and that was one of my favorites of all time. And just like the darkness of this album with these like unsettling voice samples of like serial killers, and brings that like real life feel into a real life horror. And I just have really fell in love with this album. It's like a mix of like the big extreme metal genre subgenres of like, it's like a blackened death doom album. It's like all three of those put together, and just has a really crazy atmosphere to it. And I got to see them perform this live in full last year in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it was a really cool show. It was cool to see them play it in full, and would love to see them again sometime. They're a sick band, one of my modern favorites, and one that's really intrigued me intensely, and I love them. They're fucking awesome. Next, it's cool that these are back to back, because this is another album that I learned about through Wyatt X Him. Very influential YouTuber to me, so shout out to you if you happen to be watching this video. And that is this band here, Human Serpent. This is their last full-length album, came out in 2021. Heirlooms Eternal. This is a Greek black metal band. This will be their final album after their vocalist X unfortunately passed away, and this is just like another kind of representation. When I found this, I found this band. I started with Inhumane Minimalism, which is another great album, very like comparable to this one to me. But I tend to say that this one's probably more of my favorite. I like a little bit more, but I love their whole discography. All four of their albums are amazing, and but this is the one I come back to the most, and I've had on vinyl for a while, and I got it like, it was like around that time, like 2022 I think is when I really got into them. And but it's just like your pretty standard black metal, or kind of modern sound of black metal. This had more of kind of the atmospheric like kind of elements to it, I guess, like the old school were kind of more like black metal, not just like really in your face heavy, as intense as like some of the earlier albums, I guess I'd say, like Inhumane Minimalism. But this one just had more of that like kind of just, I don't know, like raw atmosphere to it. I don't know, it's like, it's hard to explain. I'm having trouble explaining it right now, but like I said, like they weren't a band that like really like when I first listened to them, I was like, like I don't see what's so special about this. I just didn't really get it that much, but it, for some reason, it was like with the Dragon in Sunlight, it just kept pulling me back and pulling me back. I was so intrigued. And another amazing artwork here, album artwork, just like all their album artwork has this like eerie, like faceless individuals, like kind of just blending in, and just, I don't know, it's really cool. And their logo is really awesome, really cool looking logo there. Really love their logo. But really cool band. And they just kept, like I said, they just kept pulling me back, and I wanted to listen to them more and more, and now I just love their discography. And it's just another modern band that I find myself coming back to a lot, going through their discography. And this one just kind of wraps up their sound for me, the one I like the most. And yeah, just a big band for me, like opening my mind up and seeing more modern stuff and being more open to modern stuff and understanding it. And just like a big thing about modern metal especially is like how the album artworks, like it evolved, and different than the like kind of like somewhat cartoonish like stuff from like the old days and the paintings and stuff. It's just, I feel like how like the artworks are usually a bit like, sometimes can be a little bit more intricate and more just dark and like unsettling feeling, and a lot of that regard. Not that there wasn't that back in the day, but I just feel like that's another thing with like modern metal that's like taking it up a notch and like has that different feel to it to me. Human Serpent, Heirlooms Eternal, amazing album. Next, We have Mamaleek with Krudaicha. This is an album that came out in 2011. This is a experimental black metal band from, I think, Sacramento, California. I think they're somewhere in California. It's like two brothers that made this band, and this is like just like such an intriguing album to me. It's so, and it's just like when I first got into it, it was just like, what in the world? Never heard anything like this. So such an interesting mix of like black metal and just like these electronic sounds, like these kind of like almost hip-hop-esque like 808 like drum things going on with it, and like they have a lot of jazz influence, and they just have like these wonky like electronic sounds mixed in here, and the vocals are totally demented, and it's just like really interesting sound that I've never heard anything like this, and to this day it's still just like very unique and intriguing, and just an album that I've just come back to a lot, and just like it's always like still has that same like ticks that same thing in my brain, that wonder, that intrigue of this. It's just like really stands out to me, and it's just like really cool, and one that just keeps pulling me back. And their first two albums are like honorable mentions too. Just like they have that same kind of vibe, and are just really unique and interesting sounding. They came out in like the late 2000s, and just like didn't really hear anything like that. It was like the experimentation done right perfectly, and just so unique and really cool sounding, and really amazing band. Next, one of my favorite modern bands ever. I have a hoodie that I wear, probably my most worn hoodie, honestly, and that is the band Artificial Brain, and I picked their debut album here, Labyrinth Constellation. It's the one I'd say I love the most, and the one I come back to the most with them. The album that got me into them was their 2022 self-titled album, which is like a follow-up to this one, but this is the one I gravitate more towards. It's just amazing, like kind of black and technical death metal, modern stuff, like not super like tech, like it's not like your super modern tech stuff, but it definitely gets pretty technical, and just amazing fucking death metal right here, like modern death metal. Just a band that really stands out to me. I love their sound so much, and they just like really intrigue me a lot, and just like just so sick. The vocalist, Will Smith, who's no longer with the band, just did amazing shit on here. The vocals are just like unmatched, awesome, cool, fucking amazing shit. The album artwork is fucking awesome. And this band is actually based out of my town now, and I hope that they make something soon. I want to see how they progress from this. They did their trilogy of albums that will always be kind of special, and I want to see what they do next without Will Smith on vocals, and just see where it goes. There's really awesome fucking bands. Artificial Brain, it's like sci-fi kind of shit, and it's just like they've done so well, perfectly, just so tight, great musicianship, just a sick fucking band. Next, we've got Reverend the Pericism, Lux Mort. This album came out in 2023. It's a Mexican death doom band, and it's just done perfectly, like super dark atmosphere, really unsettling vocals or vocal samples, and the vocals are pretty unsettling too, but the voice samples in it are just really unsettling and disheartening. And it just has this really dark, brutal atmosphere to it. And I got into this right at the end of the year 2023. I actually found out about this when I was still on Instagram. I followed the band Artificial Brain, and they said this, like they released it through their stories, that this is their favorite of the year, and I was like, oh, I'm really intrigued by that. So I had to check them out, and I was not disappointed at all. Like, was listening to this multiple times a day. Became my favorite metal album of that year, and definitely still stand to this day. Just a fucking amazing death doom album. Just done exactly how I love in death doom, and I can't wait to hear something else by this band someday. They're fucking sick, and I would highly recommend anybody that's into death doom and just likes that like deep, guttural, dark sound. It's just fucking sick. Next, we've got my favorite album of last year. So this is still fairly like new, but it's a band I've known of for a long time, and that is Pissgrave with their album Malignant Mirthlessness. Like I said, it came out in 2025, and this is the one that made it really click with me, Pissgrave. I've been quite intrigued by them over the years, but didn't go back to them a ton. I went back to Suicide Euphoria quite a bit, like here and there, but it never like really like clicked with me that much, and I didn't want to, it just didn't like pull me back that much. But then this dropped, man, and I just listened to the shit out of this. I got hooked on this. It's just like so, like their unique fucking sound is so filthy, nasty, disgusting, but also has like a fucking like catchiness to it. It's just, it's so wild. And their album artworks are just disgusting, decomposing bodies, real life. Like, I think I've heard that people say that all the people on their album covers are suicide victims, and just shows the disgusting filth and nastiness of this planet. What is this planet? And Pissgrave shows that perfectly through their art. And just love this fucking band. Hope they do something in the future, but if they don't, excellent trilogy of albums. Fucking one of my favorite modern metal bands, and just stand out to me a lot. They're fucking sick and awesome. And next we have this band Null with their 2022 album Metempiric. This is the album that got me into them, introduced me to them, and really pulled me in and intrigued me. This is a like kind of doomy like grind band, which is an interesting combination with doom being so slow and then grind being so fast. So it's like an interesting combination of things. They have like this gloomy atmosphere, these like doomy parts that have like these like electronic sounds, like kind of noisy electronic parts put in, these like ominous horns and just avant-garde kind of sound. And they're just a really intriguing band to me, and like the vocals sound absolutely demented and insane to me, like all over the fucking place, like sounds like a fucking deranged person, and it's fucking awesome, man. I just fucking love the shit out of it, and it's just a sick fucking band. And as people compare the vocals and style kind of to that of Full of Hell, and I can see the comparison there, but Null, they just fucking do it so great. And look at this is another great representation of this album artwork, like being the modern feel, just like this intricate like design here is so intriguing to me. I actually have the flag of this on the wall behind me. It's one of my favorite things, piece of art that I have. But I got to see this band live in early 2022 when I had first gotten into them, and it was sick. I met the lead guy. He was such a nice guy. Like, people were moshing hard, and it was like in this record store, and so there was like a weird kind of corner where the stage was, and they tried to put merch up on the side, and like I had to help the guy move the table out of the way because people were moshing so badly, like the opening acts. And he was just like such a nice guy. He was so appreciative of me like helping, and he was appreciative of me getting some merch from him when I was there. And he was just like a really cool guy. And then like it was so cool to like see him like be this like super cool, like happy, like go lucky guy, and then he just goes up on stage and turns into like an insane, like demented human being, like another like human being completely. And it was so interesting to watch, and just a really crazy experience in my life, and just a fucking sick band, man. That was like one of my favorite shows I've ever been to. And shout out to this band. Null is fucking awesome. They have amazing merch. Check out their merch and Null Grind. They're fucking awesome. Really sick band, and highly recommend them. Next, got one of my favorite albums of all time, within my top 10 albums of all time easily, and that is Ghost with Opus Eponymous. Their debut album came out in 2010. Tobias was in the band Repugnant before this, which is a death metal band, very different than the sound that he did with Ghost and still does with Ghost. Just went the more like pop, like traditional heavy metal, occult rock kind of sound, and god damn did they fucking nail it on the head with this. Like, I fucking love the shit out of this album. It's so comforting to me. The spooky synthy sounds, like the progressive organ sounds, and just mixed with the kind of like occult and like heavy metal sounds are just fucking amazing, man. And Tobias's fucking vocals are just like amazing, and like how the other members are anonymous and like the masked ghouls kind of thing. And I just love that shit. I love this fucking band, and they just like don't miss. They're just such a cool band to me, and I just love that there's Tobias has the roots within death metal and still loves extreme music and such, but he makes like more poppy music. And god, this album is just so comforting to me. It just brings that. I've always been in like spooky Halloween shit, and then just like this just like nails it on the head with this amazing album artwork that matches it so well. These like spooky sounds that it creates, and just like catchy fun. Just, I always listen to this around Halloween. It's like a must every year around Halloween. I mean, I listen to it throughout the year, but it always reminds me of that time of year, one of my favorite times of the year, comforting for me. It always has been, and this is just a fucking special album, man. Could not recommend enough. Fucking love this band. They're awesome, and just fucking still killing it. Cannot wait for their next album. Skeletal last year was fucking amazing, and I just can't wait to see what they keep doing. They just fucking kill it. Love them. And the last of the full list here, I have Nails with their album On Silent Death. 11 minutes of just fast, insane brutality. And I just love the fucking shit out of this album, man. I actually found this through Anthony Fantano. When I was first getting into him, I was like somewhat around the time that I was getting into extreme metal as well, and I got very intrigued by this because he gave it like a 9 out of 10. I gave it 10 out of 10. This shit is fucking awesome. I just never like, I hadn't been too much into grindcore. Like, I'd heard some grind stuff, like I'd heard like Terrorizer, Napalm Death and stuff, like the early stuff, but I never really heard like the more modern like power violence, getting more super fast, and like I guess I'd never even heard like even some of like the grindcore from like the second wave, like around like the late 90s, early 2000s, like Nasum and like Discordance Axis and such. And this like just like another level, like takes it to that, like has that hardcore mentality, just fast, brutal, insane, has these death metal elements to it, and they're just fucking sick, man. I just this album will always be so special to me. And the lyrical content, just fuck you. I'll just rate in your face. That's what I love about this album so much too, is rate in your face, fuck you, fuck everybody. They don't give a fuck about you. Take care of your fucking self. It's just like, fuck the sheep who tell me how to live. I wasn't born to follow or swallow anybody's shit. And I fucking love this album, man. Sick fucking shit. Highly recommend. Fucking fast. And that was just like another thing, like an album that's like 11 minutes long. Like, I just wasn't as familiar with stuff like that, and just like it being so fucking fast, and it's just fucking awesome, and it's just so cool to me, and just like it's fucking sick. It was always just like, I'll always still bring me that little bit of intrigue that it did at the time, and I was like, yeah, this is me getting to more extreme shit, and I love it. It's fucking extreme. And the last one, which is kind of an honorable mention, because it's like in a little bit of a gray area. A very differing and very controversial album within the metal sphere, especially. And that is Sunbather by Deafheaven. Atmospheric black metal, shoegaze black metal, black gaze, screamo, whatever the fuck you want to call this album, if you want to call it metal or not. This album is just really something that's pulled me back a lot for the atmosphere it creates. I love the vocals, like the mix of like screamo vocals and just like kind of like that raspy black metal vocals that I kind of go for. And just like the shoegazy kind of like how it like mixes well with black metal, because of like they're both kind of genres that are trying to create this atmosphere. And it's funny, this album's called Sunbather because I spend a lot of time listening to this album when I'm actually sunbathing. It like goes really well with it. It's like the color of the background is like like when you close your eyes, and like that's the color you see when you're like the sun is on you and you close your eyes. It's like that kind of reddish pink color, and it just like matches it so perfectly, and just like reminds me of like being out in the world on a sunny like hot day. And it's just an album that's pulled me back a lot, and it's very hated by, of course, true like cult black metal fans. And I love the cult shit, I love the OG shit too. I'm still like, I don't know if I'm going to 100% call this now black metal. I mean, it doesn't really fit in the whole like aesthetic completely. Like the album artwork's not anywhere close to that. I mean, it has elements of black metal in it, but I don't know if I'd call it a full-out black metal album. But I feel like it is a good representation of that like genre of like black gaze that was starting to be coming in around that time, and like the progression of black metal in general, and experimentation with it. And that's what the cult people hate, and it's like, it's got to be true, it's got to be this one sound. And like, I understand, like I love the cult black metal sound, but I'm also open-minded to stuff progressing and different sounds and people experimenting with things. So this is just an album, and I've been a fan of screamo and other kind of like indie kind of stuff, and like shoegaze. Like, I'm a fan of those genres as well. So I mean, this is a great combination of those things. I feel like it puts it in very well. There's like that one song that's like pretty eerie sounding with like there's like the preacher man like preaching, and then like, well, there's also like, it's also like a little sample of like a guy like trying to get drugged or something, and like, I've only got $60, man, that's all I got. And it's like kind of like an eerie sounding song, and like just like kind of this like droning kind of sound going on in the background the whole time. It's just an interesting, intriguing album, and I just think it's a really good album. The only one I really go back to much by them, and I haven't listened to it in quite a while, but it's still just one that I've gone back to and has intrigued me a lot over the years as a modern album. And I think it creates like a lot of like, it just shows like a progression, and it's a really great representation of that black gaze, like I said. And it's another thing that's interesting about it is just that, like, it's brought in, and it's another thing that like kind of makes me like not like it as much, as that it's like brought in people who aren't into metal music, and they say they like this album. So it's like metal, like, yeah, I understand like the like gatekeeping and stuff, like to an extent. Like, if you're not really into metal, like, you're not really I don't know, I'm not trying to be like closed-minded in that way, but metal people who are into metal is kind of just like, it's kind of a community and a special kind of thing. Like, you understand each other. So it's like when people come in from the outside and aren't really actually into metal and don't like have that same kind of passion with you, it's just like different. But so all I have to say, Sunbather by Deafheaven, great album. And like I said, I don't know if I can call it metal or not, so that's why I wanted to put it there. And it's a gray kind of thing. But yeah, that's my list of my favorite modern metal albums that stand out to me the most. I just like, that's just kind of just, they've had the biggest effect on me, and they're just special to me, and they always will be. And I'm excited to keep progressing and finding more music into the future. But thank you guys for watching. That's all I really have to say on this. And let me know in the comments down below what modern metal albums have had an effect on you. Anything, any bands that have like come out like post 05 and it's like to the late 2000s, early 2010s and such, and 2020s even. If anything's had that much of an effect on you, love to hear. I love to find some new stuff and connect with some people on some music they like. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.